Hello everyone, welcome to the Commonwealth Realm. I'm Joey, joined by the head honcho Conrad, because we are going to discuss the latest line of Nintendo Switch 2 leaks. Conrad, tell us what we're going to be talking about today.
Nintendo Today. Yes, there was supposed to have news, but I'm not sure if the news was supposed to reveal the C button, app icon, on the App Store and Google Play Store of Nintendo Today. So it is confirmed. It doesn't tell anything about what is the function of the C. That is still the realm of speculation. But yeah, the C button hopefully remains a mystery until April 2nd.
Nintendo, for what it's worth, like, the only things that really leak from them are like dates of directs and like dates of trailer announcements and what the hardware looks like. But as it is right now, we don't know zilch about their games other than the new Mario Kart. We also don't know their UI.
The next leak is something you brought up, actually, Joe, because we all know that the Nintendo Switch 2 is backwards compatible with Nintendo Switch titles, meaning that pretty much all Nintendo Switch games will be running on the Nintendo Switch 2. But apparently, there is something more to it, as FamiBoards was able to discover.
So you could say this is like a leak, but it's not exactly like somebody hacked into Nintendo and revealed this information. This is stuff that you see in the fine print about their site for virtual game cards for the Nintendo Switch. It says this on the website, the bottom text, which reads, Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games and Nintendo Switch 2 edition games can only be loaded on a Nintendo Switch 2 system. So, forbid, it's going to be something like an upgrade situation where you have to pay to upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of a Nintendo Switch 1 game.
You know, we're talking about Nintendo here, and Nintendo is notorious for asking for payment for pretty much any new content upgrade or whatever. Of course, I want to give them the benefit of a doubt and hope that this will be a completely free feature. But knowing that a lot of features are locked behind the paid Nintendo Switch Online, I wouldn't be surprised if this could actually make it as a part of that. We know the Nintendo account is being continued on the Nintendo Switch 2, and so is Nintendo Switch Online. So we all know the perks there, like you can't use Nintendo Music without that. Well, here's another thing that might be exclusive to that.
That there will be like Nintendo Switch 2 enhancements coming to Nintendo Switch 1 games. And you know, Conrad, I watched that Metroid Prime 4 trailer, and my only critique was I'd like to see more vegetation. So maybe a Switch 2 version could give me that petty little wish.
Yeah, and I think we all are excited to see what kind of visual upgrades we can see on the Nintendo Switch 2 compared to Nintendo Switch, not only for backwards compatible title, but also for titles that might get upgrades. Breath of the Wild 4K, hopefully. There was no Switch, there was no Zelda in this Nintendo Direct, so yep, here's hoping Zelda shows up in the one that really matters, in the new fiscal year.
Of course.
But since we're on the topic of visuals, Joey, not long before those two Directs, we had a leak, or actually more of a statement, coming from FamiBoards user Secret Boy, who stated that Switch 2's LCD screen will have a 120Hz refresh rate, significantly better than the current display of the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch OLED, right?
I didn't think in a million years that they would go for a 120Hz display on the Switch, like the Switch 2 portable screen, because that, to me, that would imply that there's going to be games that support frame rates up to that high, which honestly, I didn't think Nintendo in a million years would care about such high frame rates as that, but maybe it also could be just for clarity purposes. Like, from what I understand, even if a game plays at 60 hertz, it could still look better on a 120 hertz display, but there's also variable refresh rates. I don't know if I completely buy this leak, but I would like to be wrong. But either way, I'm going to be happy with whatever screen Nintendo gives us on the Switch 2, because it's already bigger than the Switch 1. And even though it's not going to be an OLED screen, like, LCD technology has come a long way since 2017. So I'll be happy.
Because there's more to this apparent leak or statement, and that is that this display and the Switch 2 itself will feature variable refresh rate, or VRR, and high dynamic range HDR.
Right. I also believe the screen will be 1080p. Like, here's the thing: the handheld PCs on the market right now, Steam Deck, they don't even support 4K. Like some of them don't even support full HD. But in the Switch 2's case, I totally buy that the screen will just be HD 1080p.
Yeah, that's exactly also what the PlayStation Portal has, which is a full HD display, which is also LCD. So it just matches the competition, and you're ready for the next 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah, exactly. Just imagine the next 3D Mario looking as good as Astrobot. Just so good. Definitely a requirement in this day and age to have your console support HDR.
Yeah, and it goes very well with all the patents we've seen so far, including AI upscaling. We know NVIDIA DLSS has been in the talks since pretty much Gamescom 2023, when they were running Breath of the Wild in 4K, 60 frames per second somehow on this thing. We have heard already so much about Breath of the Wild 4K. There was no Zelda in this. Like, people were clamoring for Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, nothing. Absolutely not a mention even about Zelda outside of having Zelda themes on the Nintendo Today app. But that was actually something that was discovered after people were able to download the app, actually. But I have a feeling that Zelda is going to make a mighty return in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. There have also been some sources pointing to that the Nintendo Switch 2 might not be launching in May after all. Like inside gaming, and that is that there will be a 3-stage phase or phases for the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. Phase 1 will then be Nintendo Switch 2 launches in June, alongside mostly first-party games. Yeah, personally, I have a feeling that if they are launching the Nintendo Switch 2 in June, so in my birthday month, yeah, we're about to enter, the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct month is again Joey's birthday month. So
yes,
I guess we both might have something. Phase 2 is actually quite interesting, because if Mario Kart is launching with the system in June, I could see Metroid Prime 4 Beyond being an either July or September game. Because here it says that October, November will be more focused on third-party studios releases, after most of them receive their development kits in June. But I would expect third-party games also to show up, maybe even as launch games.
I'm still not sure how like stone cold accurate this 3-phase plan is. To be fair, whenever anyone tries explaining it to me, I just kind of fall asleep because I don't really care that much. I just want to see the games at that Switch 2 Direct, and then we could talk about phases, maybe.
Yep, because the final phase is more new Switch 2 games to roll out for holiday season. I think we know exactly 2 of the games. In that case, one of them has already been revealed and was even in the Direct in March, that being obviously Pokemon Legends ZA, a typical November release, and the second one has to be the new 3D Mario game. It's the 40th anniversary of Super Mario after all.
You gotta think, right? I will be absolute. Look, I know it's hard to predict Nintendo because Nintendo doesn't always do the obvious stuff, but I would be so shocked if we didn't see a 3D Mario this holiday season. That would just be baffling.
Best Buy Canada, again, has managed to spill some beans. And,
beans are everywhere.
Yeah, they're even calling them now BBC, Best Buy Canada. Duh. So it says that pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 will go live on April 2nd, but I guess that was a given with the Direct happening the same day.
Yeah, I the guaranteed given. I'm just like, yep, not surprised here. I know I'm going to be like a puddle of anxiety after that Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, trying to get my pre-order in.
I just hope Nintendo is aware of the popularity of the Switch and that they need at least 10 million systems probably available at launch. It's a completely different situation than when they were launching the Nintendo Switch after the Wii U.
Yeah, extremely different.
And on that note, I think we have managed to round up pretty much all the leaks. There, of course, is rumors about a long list of other games that we just don't have the time to talk. Like Xbox games, like plenty of third-party Japanese developers. So thank you so much for being on this journey, but it is just getting started because the big countdown to Nintendo Switch 2 is about to start. So if you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a like, and press the notification bell to not miss any of the upcoming videos, and there will be a lot of them following the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Along with, of course, the live stream, where both I and Joey will be present.
It's gonna be so good. I'm so excited.
Last but not least, as always, a big thanks to you for watching until the end, and to all our patreon.com/commonrealm patrons. Special shoutouts go to Roa producer JC Funk and heroes Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf, and Kintaro. You all rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.